What's up? Happy New Year. I am Anthony. That's Joel. We the Blueprint. We got a special guest, Junior.
Junior in the building. What's up, Junior?
My friends call me Junior, but it's really JR. JR Anderson. No, it's Junior. Junior Anderson.
What's going on?
Good. Good to see you.
So he's a traveler agent, world-class traveling agent. What else? Chef.
Travel agent, travel consultant. Cooking is my other passion, but my main business is I have a non-emergency medical transportation business. That's really how I met these brothers. Coming from work and getting my hair cut, getting a nice chop.
Yes, sir. So we're here today to talk about travel. So son. Joe?
So where the well, I want to talk about traveling on a budget because that's for me. But before we get into that, with COVID and everything going around, what are some of the popular places that you can travel to right now with COVID going on?
Well, I mean, COVID is the elephant in the room right now because I guess you would say folks want to travel, but we're not going to ignore the fact that COVID is a real situation. So
right.
Traveling to places without a COVID test has attracted more travelers. So Mexico, you can travel to Cancun, you can go to Cabo, Puerto Vallarta without a COVID test. No COVID test was needed to enter Mexico. Things are going to change on the 26th of this month of January. But Dominican Republic, no COVID test was needed. So I've been to Cabo in September, and I've been to the Dominican Republic. You can also visit Costa Rica. You just have to purchase a $150 insurance policy that the country requires. So other countries, though, like Mexico and DR, are doing as much as they can to keep tourism going. Actually, Mexico broke some records in Thanksgiving. A lot of people went for Thanksgiving vacation. But you have other places that allow visitors in, but you have to have a COVID test before getting on your flight to go to these countries like St. Lucia, Jamaica, Barbados, Antigua. You have to have a COVID test normally within 72 hours. Jamaica actually gives you 5 days, where as long as your COVID test is negative, 72 hours or 5 days before your flight, you can board your flight. Now, you didn't have to test to come back to the U.S. until this week. So now, it's made things a little bit more complicated, having to have a negative test now when you're leaving your destination. So you don't want to get stuck in destination, of course not, but the probability of you having a negative test going and a positive test coming back, very low. So a lot of folks are still willing to travel to those places.
So you talked about, what area was that where you say you had to have insurance?
Oh, Costa Rica.
So what is the insurance for?
Okay, so normally folks will say, I want to insure my trip or protect my trip. Normally that's for like flight delays, you lose your luggage, you need to cancel your trip because of your job, or death or health in the family, death in the family, or your health isn't well. Normally, insurance will make sure that you can get your money back, regardless if you cancel, 2 hours before your trip. You can get what's called cancel for any reason. But some of those insurance policies do have coverage where if you're jet skiing or four-wheeling and you fall and break your arm, you got to go to the hospital, it's covered. Or if you miss your flight because you hurt yourself, you'll be covered in the hospital. Those are normally like 10% of the trip. So if a trip is $1,500, expect to pay about $150 for insurance. Now, those insurance policies weren't prepared for COVID, so you either have to get a supplemental insurance that'll cover that, or like these countries are making it affordable to let you know that, look, if anything happens to you, as long as you have this insurance policy, you'll be covered during your quarantine stay or if you had to go to the hospital.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was Sean's client. That's what happened when she was in Africa.
Oh, that was before COVID, though.
Yeah, but she had the insurance. The insurance, I think, was mandatory that they had to have it because it was like a student trip or something.
Good point. So some countries are making it mandatory and have been making it mandatory for you to have some type of insurance policy. So like me and myself as a travel agent, you can buy an insurance policy for the year that'll cover all your trips. You can just pay one premium.
And I think their policy, or however it was, covered flying the mom over there to look out for.
Some of them will cover airlift, or emergency airlift. But I would say I've had clients that had people die on a trip, like an elderly person died on a boat.
Dang.
So some ships, like some vacation companies like Carnival, will cover the cost of getting the body off the ship and getting the family off the ship. But a lot of times you want to make sure if you're traveling with somebody with a pre-existing condition that you have insurance just in case of situations like that. But,
so if it's not mandatory, you recommend it?
Oh, I recommend. Well, now after COVID, I definitely recommend that you purchase because you're protecting your investment.
Right.
So if you're going to spend, if it's two people, you and your significant other, or you and your child, or just you, if you're spending $2-3 grand on a trip,
what's a few $100?
What's a few, $200-$300 to cover your trip? But some folks are like, well, what if I don't use the insurance? I'm like, same thing with car insurance.
Right.
What if you don't use it? It's there to protect you. So as a travel consultant, that's what I do. Because travel agent, I think travel agents back in the days, we just kind of take orders. You want to go here? Okay, here's your flight. What day you want to go, what day you want to come back. Now as a travel consultant, I talk to people about destinations. Like, why are you going? Why do you want to go to Cabo? Is it for the party scene? Why do you want to go to Tulum? Why do you want to go to Jamaica? And what kind of trip is it? Is it a vacation? You taking bae with you? Is it a girls' trip? Is it a family reunion? Maybe you even planning destination weddings. I do destination weddings. I'm a heterosexual male, married 23 years, and I love doing weddings.
Weddings lit.
Yeah, in this industry though, it's
weddings are fun.
I guess I've taken on the tag of travel bro, because in this industry you don't really find a lot of males that are attentive to the needs of someone like ourselves when traveling.
Right.
I've done travel for single fathers too. They want to take their kids on a trip, not just to Orlando. I've done a single father where he took his family to Jamaica.
And how long you been doing it?
It's been 8 years now. I've been in the travel business as a consultant, but I used to work for the Hyatt in Miami. That's where I first saw people traveling. I was working in Miami, and I would see these people come in, drop their luggage at the front, and this bus would pick up the luggage and take it to these cruise ships. And I was like, man, what is this? What do they do on these cruise ships? So I got a chance finally. My wife was actually working for a company called CLIA, Cruise Line International, and they do cruise tours. They take the agents on tours of the ships.
Right.
But these ships are like malls, like the size of a mall, like with restaurants. And they were like floating cities. So it drew my interest, and once I went on a cruise, I was hooked after that. And I used to post a lot of pictures on social media, and some folks at my church asked me, are you a travel agent? And I was like, no, I just do it for fun. But I was curating trips for like my parents, and other friends would come with me. And then one young lady asked me if I wanted to join her travel agency, and I thought it was some multi-level marketing thing. But she was a real travel agent with a travel agency, Janine McPhee, a good friend of mine from Your Door to the World Travel, and I joined her travel agency, and then from there I just started booking trips.
So is social media increase people
big time.
wanting to get out and go to different areas?
Well, for me, when folks see me traveling, they can see themselves traveling. So I think more folks like our peers, if you see your homie just got back from Aruba, jazz festival, he's showing pictures. You're like, man, I gotta get mine. So social media, it's not. And so I think the millennials use it as a competition. You have millennials that will take a 3-day, will go to Thailand for 2 days and come back home.
Right.
Where we're like, if I'm going to Thailand, I'm staying.
Just for the photo op.
But a lot of them are like, look, I get it just for the photo op. Which is like, I wouldn't really call it cultural currency or getting a dose. You're getting a dose of the culture, but you're just doing it from a picture standpoint. And some of those young folks have become what you call influencers.
Right.
Because they influence other people to travel. Right. So a lot of vacation clubs or travel brands are looking for these young folks because they're willing to, put this stuff on social media.
Yeah.
Because we were talking one day, we were talking about Santorini. Who knew where Santorini was?
I didn't know till the music.
Until
Rick Ross.
Till Ricky Ross went to Santorini.
Right.
Folks was like, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Like, point to it on the map. They're like, I don't know where it's at. I just want to go.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, if it wasn't for him, if somebody would have told me, I'd be like,
Yeah.
When you hear about it and you see it, like talk about social media, it's like,
well,
okay,
social media has made this
going.
big world a much smaller place because you can visit some place without visiting it.
Right.
And like with COVID now, what's changed, the world was becoming more and more accessible. At one point, to fly to Africa, would cost you quite a bit of money, or to go to Dubai, or to go to Thailand. Now you can do a trip to Dubai, Thailand for under $2,000 a person with airfare, hotel, tours. So
right.
Where before that would cost you, $5,000. It's actually more expensive to go to Hawaii than it is to go to Dubai or Thailand or France.
Ticket to Hawaii is what, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200?
And it's a domestic location, so there's not a lot of bargains. It's everything is. When you travel, you start to also see the difference not only in cultures but in governments and in economics. So that's one of the great things about traveling, because there's some places you can travel and you can eat for $10 a day.
Yeah. Okay. So we were talking earlier about how sometimes we want to go to different areas but have no idea where it is on the map. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I guess it was a couple of years ago when you said, I think that somebody had asked you about driving somewhere.
Somebody said that they were like, yeah, I want to plan a trip to Jamaica, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, so have you ever been to Jamaica before? They were like, nah, I've just heard so much about it and I really want to go. And I was like, okay, so what city would you be flying from? So they was like, nah, we're not going to fly though. And they were from St. Louis. And I was like, what you mean you're not going to fly? She was like, can we take a boat? I was like, oh. I said, well, you can cruise to Jamaica, but you can only be there for a few. She said, they don't have like boats that take you over there? Or you can't drive? I was like, nah. She said, but you could drive to Key West, right? I was like, yeah. Oh, you can't drive? I was like, if you go any further than that, you're going to be in the ocean. But it just made me realize that, man, it's an opportunity because so many people want to travel but have no idea of so people like, I want to go to Thailand. And I'm like, well, you realize it's about 20 hours with a layover, 20-hour worth of flight, right? You're not going to get a direct flight over the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
So you're going to connect somewhere. And even if your connection is an hour or 2 hours, and you want it to be long enough where if there's a delay. So most connections, when you're going that far, is 2 to 3 hours. But, you're spending a whole day traveling. Can you imagine flying from on an 18-hour flight? Because they actually do have straight flights from certain parts of Thailand, where it's 18 hours. Being on a plane for 18 hours.
Right.
So are people really prepared for that? And are you going to sit coach or are you going to sit, first class or one of those pods? So you have to educate folks, and then.
So speaking of education, what's a pod? For those that don't know.
A pod is when you're your first class and you have your own area where your chair reclines into a bed and you can actually close the door. You have your TV, your meals.
Right.
So an area for your lap is like about this big.
Okay.
Then you have what's called first class. First class, the seats are pretty much just like this. You can recline.
You have more leg space.
Yeah, but it's not a bed. It's not a bed.
And I think everybody knows what coach is, but for those that don't, what's coach?
Coach is like this.
Right, sitting like this, might have somebody on your shoulder.
You got it. So you have premium coach or comfort plus, what they say, Delta with a seat of recline a little bit more to get that back. But when you're in coach, normally your seat on the recliner is maybe 15 degrees.
Okay. So before we get into Mexico, because we want to talk about Mexico or even international areas, before we get into that, what's some hot places that you can go to domestically? Yeah,
I would say COVID definitely has given more insight to domestic travel. And there's people always talk about it's dangerous to go to Mexico, it's dangerous to go to Jamaica, it's dangerous to go to DR. It's safer to go to DR than it is to go to Chicago. Than it is to go. Per capita as far as incidents. But what happens is that the media will sensationalize certain things. So some people feel like it's a conspiracy to keep people blinded or keep them in the U.S.
Right.
Because Orlando is a great vacation,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all man-made. Miami's great. It's the beach, but it's the tip of Florida. It's one of the few places where you can get really nice white sand and some clear water. But if you are looking for some place, I would say U.S. and exotic, then you have Puerto Rico, which is outside of the U.S., but it's still a U.S. province. You can use your driver's license to go to Puerto Rico or St. Thomas. Hawaii is a domestic location, but Alaska is an exotic domestic location. But Vegas is a great trip, but again, man-made.
Right.
L.A., New York, all these places. But now you have other places that folks are putting on the bucket list, like Utah, different places in Minnesota, different places in Nevada. Houston is a great city to hang out in, especially for black folks.
Are they wide open right now?
They still, with COVID, you're going to find places like here in Atlanta where you can go, you can have a drink. People are living with it, but as far as out, there's no curfew, but a lot of restaurants aren't, open extended hours, and there's no nightlife. So there's a couple of bars and lounges. You find little pockets right now, but COVID is going to end at some point, and we're gonna learn how to live. We're learning how to live with COVID. I fly, I wear my mask,
Right.
carry Lysol, I wipe my seatbelt, I social distance, I stay close to my wife or whoever I'm traveling with, but I try to stay 6 feet. But I also work on my health to make sure that if I was not just COVID, anything, any virus,
Right.
that I'm able to fight that off. I do a lot of anti-inflammatory things like ginger, turmeric. Drink lots of water, stay hydrated. But domestic places like Vegas, we went to Vegas in November, and it was lit.
Mm-hmm.
The lights are lit up. The Cosmopolitan was there. The restaurants were there. There were just no shows
Right.
to go to. But
on average right now, say a 3-day weekend, or 3 days in Vegas, what would it run me right now?
with airfare and everything, without pocket money and stuff, $500 with airfare and hotel. You can stay at the Luxor. You can stay at the MGM with airfare. Direct flight from Atlanta, $500-$600. And then it depends. If you gamble, that's the thing. Vegas, you will spend money on food.
Right.
If you want.
I'm just talking about just getting out there and coming back, not including.
$500. You could actually, and if you're willing to fly Frontier or Spirit, one of the bargain airlines,
that's the coach.
just carry that's under the plane. Now, I've flown Spirit to St. Louis. I've flown Spirit to. I flew Frontier to Portland, Oregon, for $49, and nice planes, leather seats, and the flight was on time.
Yeah.
But Spirit will put it this way: Spirit, like Cancun, I wouldn't advise you to do an international flight on Spirit, because if the flight is supposed to have, let's say they have 150 seats on the flight, but they only book 75. Spirit will be like, we're not flying.
They'll cancel.
They'll cancel.
Okay.
Send you back to your hotel. But that's when Delta will gas the plane up, or if there's a plane down, certain airlines like Delta can get a plane in destination quickly. Delta has 5 flights to Cancun daily. Spirit might have 1 or 2. But, it's quality versus quantity. You get what you pay for.
Right.
Spirit doesn't have a lounge at the airport. You know what it is. But listen, if you want a bargain, so if you could fly to Cancun, if you could fly to Vegas for $89 each way, just say $200 round trip, versus flying on Delta for $400 round trip. Would you fly on Spirit?
Yeah, I do it.
I would do it too, to save
Right.
$200. But now those flights have become more competitive, because you can fly a round trip on Delta to Vegas for $200. Now when Spirit has deals at $49, or Southwest has some great deals. I like Southwest because it's kind of in between.
Right.
You don't pick your seats, but they call you by. They have a little system.
Yeah.
But no cancellation fees with Southwest. So if I change my mind, so Southwest has a better service package than Spirit does, but they'll charge you a little bit more. So I always tell people, before you plan a trip, how do you really want to fly? Like, you fly.
I fly
Delta. And points.
I'm a Sky Miles.
Sky Miles.
Sky Miles. Free
Right.
flights.
But he also likes the level of service, especially when he's traveling with his wife, because I booked trips for him before, and he's like, look, if it was just me, I might try something, but when I'm traveling with my queen,
Yeah, whenever you traveling with a woman, you gotta step it
You
up a
gotta
little
do
bit.
it.
So
But
the
also-
last thing you want to do is, in your mind, you think it's gonna go one way. It's gonna be this, this, and this, and she
Right.
started complaining as soon as.
I give you a quick one. My wife, we went to Jamaica, and we had 4 nights at a really nice hotel. We was going for a wedding.
Yeah.
But our flight was getting in at 6, and then my cousin was coming. She was going to stay at the same hotel. Her flight didn't get until 7. So I was like, why wait at the airport and go to the hotel, get to the airport at 9? We just stayed in a little motel in town, and the next morning, and I had got us upgrades at the hotel my wife didn't know about, but the hotel, we stayed in the motel. Holiday, she was very dissatisfied.
One up the park.
Yeah, she's to this day. She's like,
Still hear about it.
she was basically like, this is where they bring prostitutes.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Why you have me here? And I was like, look, I tried to. They don't want to hear the explanation.
Nah.
We should have been at the other hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we got there, she was really happy, but she said we shouldn't have spent that night here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely want to make sure you take care. Know how you flying and know how you staying. That's a good thing too. Where do you want to stay? You want a swim out suite? You want a room with beautiful vaulted ceilings, and some hotels now are very technologically advanced where you get an iPad or you can pick what restaurant you want to eat in.
So when dealing with new people that's just starting to get out and travel and experience different things, what are some things that that you may find out when they get back that they may have had an issue with that they know about, say like hidden fees or
like
different things.
Timeshare presentations. Somebody told them that they could get a free excursion if they do this timeshare presentation, and they ended up getting into an argument. That was one thing. Or they got to the hotel, they was expecting a king size bed, and they got 2 beds.
Right.
Because hotels, a lot of them won't guarantee bedding.
Exactly.
Or they got to a hotel, they paid for a particular room, but the hotel was sold out of that room or overbooked, so they put them in another room, but didn't give them. They want a refund, and the hotel is like, no, we'll give you, a free beach dinner, and they don't want that.
Right.
So sometimes, and I tell folks you have to travel with grace, especially nowadays during COVID, because a lot of hotels are operating at 40% capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So the staff is lower. And then remember, 5-star in the United States is not 5-star in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. 5-star might just mean that they have air conditioning, running water, and hot water.
Yeah.
Where our 5-star is like thread counts and stuff like that. So setting the expectation is really important ahead of time. Now that's the great part about being a travel agent, because I'm in contact with these hotels. I know what hotels truly have luxury standards.
Yeah.
So you talk to folks about that. To answer your question, you talk to folks about what to expect before they leave. So when they come back, if it wasn't what they expected, now you have a recourse to either talk to the resort about it, maybe get them a free stay next time, or extended stay, I should say, because hotels, most of the time, they're not giving you anything for free.
Yeah.
But culture-wise too, like my wife, we've gone to Dominican Republic, and we noticed that it's hard to communicate with the staff, because a lot of folks don't understand that these countries, to learn English, you have to go to a certain level of school or even pay for school. So a lot of the lower level workers don't speak English.
Yeah.
So you might ask. I remember we asked for a face towel. My wife thought the lady told her that I was getting her facial done for the day.
Oh, okay.
She said, "Oh, your husband told me." My wife was like, "Oh, I'm getting a facial." She's like, "Nah, babe, I told her that to bring you some face towels."
So getting back to the COVID, on your experience flying, how has that been? Have the planes been clean? What preparations you have to do when you flying? Do you need to bring certain items?
I smirk at that question because honestly, there's a higher chance of catching COVID in here because of the air filtration system than it is. Airplanes have the cabin air filter system, and it's been proven. Less people, they're not finding folks at high risk being on an airplane. Where your high risk is in the airport, if you're going around other people.
Right.
But as far as the airplanes are clean, filters are clean. You know, that tray table, like a lot of folks now are doing, you know, they have those YouTube where they wipe a tray table and they take it to the lab and you see how much bacteria. But we should have been doing that in the first place.
Right.
You know, so I would say my experience, you have to wear your mask for the full flight unless you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
So it is getting used to wearing a mask, but by the time you fall asleep,
Right.
you wake up. So the chances of catching COVID, now some Delta, no middle seat, which is
Really?
cool. Because think about it, on the plane, there's really no social distance. The
Right.
person in front of you is 2 feet. But some airlines now have gone back to selling middle seats because science is just proving that it's not the airplane where people are catching COVID.
So what airlines you have flown since COVID?
Delta, Southwest. Delta and Southwest are the only
Okay,
two.
so what about Southwest? Flying Southwest?
Southwest, same thing as Delta. Southwest stopped disinfecting or fogging their planes and cleaning their planes after each flight. But Delta has different standards. So Southwest does give you wipes when you get on. So does Delta, but Southwest gives you wipes and basically it's saying, put your mask on,
Right.
wipe your seatbelt, wipe your area. Because they're realizing now too with science that a lot of the virus don't, from what they're saying, isn't really able to thrive or live on the surfaces. So a lot of airlines were, why are we fogging the floor and fogging these cabins when it's really a matter of practicing better hygiene.
Right.
Or
So how they doing at the baggage claim? Do everybody still rush in?
you still get your baggage, but again, which has always been our rule anyway, folks. Stop watching it so close.
Right.
Yeah.
So now people are more conscious of it. But then sometimes even myself, you'll be somewhere and you forget. You write up and somebody turn around, you go, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
So you wait your turn, but just like when you go to the gas station now, after you handle something, what do?
Yeah.
You wash your hands.
Right.
And the mask will help you keep from touching your face. I've got much better at not touching my face. Digging your nose.
Right.
Picking your teeth because you're like, man. So, but not to say let's put COVID to the side, but think about it. There's SARS, Zika, Ebola, but just regular viruses.
Yeah, but this is the number one.
Right.
It is,
now,
but what
yeah.
I'm saying is that you still have to be careful. Even if
Nothing
they
shut
come,
the government down.
even if they come with a vaccine for COVID, there might be another virus. You still have to practice good hygiene.
Right.
So it's really, I give my clients the tools. So bring disposable masks, but you can bring your designer mask. But I have N1 masks for when I'm traveling. It's harder to breathe in those masks. But
Yeah.
those are the masks that I'll use if I'm going to be in a large
Large
area.
area.
If you're just wearing a mask just because you want people to see you with a mask, then yeah, you could wear your designer mask.
But me seeing people on a daily day, it's a lot of nasty people out here. I know we got to keep ourselves with clean hygiene, but seeing people on a day-to-day basis, from gyms to just around, period.
So where do you think you're safer at? On vacation in Cancun or
In the hot sun, anywhere with a hot sun.
But between going on a vacation in Cancun or being at the gym, where do you feel safer at?
I'm on vacation, but my point of asking is to make my wife feel safer so I can travel, brother. You got to help me.
Oh, I got you. Well, my wife, I'll be transparent. My wife went through kidney failure years ago, but she has had some issues before on cruises when she got the flu, when she got influenza. She's just more susceptible to influenza or kidney infection than other people. So you would say, well, she shouldn't travel then. No, my wife is like, no, I'm going to travel.
Right.
I'm just going to make sure that I'm more
Take
careful.
precaution.
Take precaution, monitor my health. So what we did is when we went to Cabo, we still took a COVID test before we left. We didn't have to. But I know that I also deal with an elderly parent, so I was doing that. I just timed it that if I'm going to be with my parent, let me take a COVID test. So I knew before I left for Cabo, 4 days before, I was negative.
Yeah.
So at least I have that window.
Right.
So now you're testing to come back. But what's the chances of you catching COVID in destination? Very low, but it could happen.
Right.
So we'll talk about that.
So if it does happen, then you just stuck over there.
Well, you have to quarantine. Now before people were doing it because you didn't have to test to come back. So if you were sick coming back, but the CDC is like, what are we really doing?
Right.
We're allowing people to leave the country and bring the disease back here. So now if you test, you could get a false positive, but it's more likely you get a false negative because they don't do the PCR test. They're not requiring you to do the PCR test. They're requiring you to do the swab test.
Okay.
Which is an antigen test. Now, once you do the antigen test, if you test negative, get on the plane. But if you test positive, they're going to test you again. So if it was a false positive, most likely they're going to catch it on the next one. And then if you want, then you could pay for a PCR test. But if you do catch the virus, you're going to have to quarantine in destination at least 10 days and then take a test again. And if you're negative, then you can come home. So
if I go to Cabo for 3 days, coming back, I take a test and it's positive.
You're going to be there for 13 days.
On my dime.
Well, some hotels, that's why I said as a travel consultant, if people are booking now, we want to book with hotels that are allowing you to test for free.
Okay.
And either allowing you to stay during quarantine for free or a discounted daily rate.
Okay.
So, but if you have a job to come back to and kids to come back to, then you have to rethink it. My baby's 27 years old, so I don't have to rush back. And I'm self-employed, I'm an entrepreneur, so I can take care of a lot of my businesses from abroad as long as I have a laptop and Wi-Fi. We did that in DR. We went DR 2 weeks in December, and another one I took a test before I went. I was negative, and I was in destination 14 days. I could have contracted it any time within there, but we stayed on the resort property. We did a few outside things. Went to a restaurant, went ATV riding, but I would say I felt safe, and I had all the luxury. I had food, great food. I had internet, high-speed internet at the hotel was great. So they sold that package to make me feel comfortable. What I was really getting at is I felt comfortable running my business from there, being able to talk to people by FaceTime or Instagram or WhatsApp. Right. So if you're not, up to date on your apps and you're not using those apps, it can be difficult to communicate. I was able to talk to, my kids, my parents, my folks that work with me.
Yeah. You never hit me back on the DM.
My bad. Is he at the beach, bro?
He told on himself.
And in my industry, it's kind of cool too because I get to collect information.
So you talked about ATV. So I know when you go different places, they have the package that maybe the
excursions.
I guess you can do like an excursion through through you.
Yeah, so
or you could do an excursion like once you get there. Like,
correct.
Which one do you normally recommend?
I recommend if you're going with a group, try to plan it out.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting there on a Thursday, I don't want to do anything Thursday other than unpack, get used to the hotel, chill at the pool or at the bar or the restaurant. But the next day, if I was going to Dubai, I would want to do a city tour. If I was going to Cancun, I would want to go snorkeling. Or we went to Cabo, that Friday we did a sunset cruise. And then Saturday we did ATV riding, the four-wheelers. That was fun through the desert. And Sunday my wife wanted to shop.
Right.
And then Monday some folks was leaving. So Monday was like a chill day for me. Where Sunday would have been my chill day if I was leaving Monday.
But what I'm saying is, okay, like say if you are on a cruise, is it best to book your excursion through the cruise line or do it on your own?
So sometimes if you wait too late, those spots are filled up.
Okay.
So if you get there on Thursday, you're like, tomorrow we're going to go ATV riding, or Saturday, you go down there, like, we don't have any slots for Saturday. We have slots for Monday. You're like, well, I'm leaving Monday.
Right.
Well, those folks that are in those slots are probably people that booked before. So it's a good idea to pre-plan. But if you can't, you can switch or choose another excursion. Price-wise, sometimes that's where a consultant comes in. I know an ATV tour shouldn't cost you more than $99 per person if it's two people in a vehicle.
Right.
If it's one person in a vehicle, sometimes it's going to cost you the same $200 for one vehicle. But sometimes they have specials going on where if you book now, you'll save. But then sometimes in destination, if they're looking to fill slots, but now you're taking a chance. So You can freestyle it, but you're not really going to save that much money by freestyling. Now, another thing, don't buy tours off the beach. That's just my recommendation. And I want to spend money with the locals, but I've had some situations where I bought something from somebody on the beach, and it wasn't what they showed me on the picture.
Okay.
We found out that our transportation wasn't coming into the hotel to pick us up, so we had to run to the front, and they left, and we had to reschedule. Where when you book with the hotel, just like when you book with a cruise company too, insurance.
Gotcha.
If you book when you're on the cruise and you book with the cruise line, if that bus has a flat, the ship's not going to leave you.
Yeah.
Or they're going to do everything to get you back to the ship, or they'll fly you back to the next destination on their dime.
Yeah. So what about you hear people, or some people are proponents of staying at the resort and doing everything that the resort has, and then other people are like, man, I'm getting out and dealing, I'm going to go amongst the locals.
It's your temperament too, man. Like a lot of folks will want to meet folks in destination and find out more about the culture, but I would still say you want to be with on a guided tour. You want to be with someone who the hotel recommends and the tourist board recommends. But those tend to be more touristy.
Right.
So I'm from Jamaica originally, so I have contacts in Jamaica as a travel consultant where there's a more organic experience. Like Jamaica has some cool tours. I mean, everything from like weed farm tours. You can go to the weed farm, pluck your own marijuana. They have other tours like about an ounce. But you can pluck your own marijuana. They have food, like culinary tours where you get to go out and taste the food and you talk to the folks that are cooking the food. Or, you can leave the hotel if you're street smart and savvy. You don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. If you're wearing a hotel band, they know you're not from the hotel, so don't go outside the tourist area just walking around, and then somebody's interacting with you and you shook, you're scared. But I mean, to be honest, again, cities like Cancun and Jamaica, different parts of Jamaica and DR get a bad rap because you hear about crime, just like you hear about crime here. Mm-hmm. But if you're in the tourist areas, they're patrolled by police, a lot of times by military. Mm-hmm. So at the most, you'll have a couple of street hustlers, but you can get out in Cancun. You can go right downtown, shop. Some people go to Cancun and Mexico for the cheap medicine. Like Viagra, Cialis is, 1/5 of the cost.
How much does it cost?
Is it here? Cialis? Cialis is like $12 a pill. $12 to $15 a pill. Some places will charge you $20 a pill. 25, 30, sometimes. But, a lot of that stuff, too, you can't necessarily get just right over the counter, like Viagra, Cialis. But some folks go for the shopping opportunities. Like when you go to Mexico, you got the place called Fifth Avenue in Playa del Carmen. A lot of folks go to Aruba and Cabo for high-end shopping, for bags and watches, because you don't pay any tax. But, I mean, I've had clients with me on a cruise, and we stopped in Bahamas, and he bought a Tag Heuer. He always wanted a Tag Heuer. He paid $5,000 for it. Watch is probably about $7,500 here in the States. Yeah. So if you can save, $2,500 on the watch, or get a Movado for 1/2 of what you buy. And some folks go for the bootleg stuff too. Yeah. So it can be real fun leaving the resort, but if you're with a family or you're there for a destination wedding, there's going to be plenty to do at resorts. Entertainment. There's going to be the beach, the pool. If you bring the family, the kids, they got the kids club, they got the nighttime entertainment, they got sports bar, they've got several, like the resort we're going to, Planet Hollywood, there's 12 restaurants on property. And we're staying 10 days, but most people are staying 4 days. You can do the Italian, the steak restaurant, and you'll find one that you really like, you'll do it twice. Yeah. So, plenty to do on the resorts. It just depends on the person. Now, if you've been to the destination more than once, you're definitely going to want to, get out and try different things. But mixing, again, it depends on the destination. Getting cool with the locals can be cool some places, and some places not recommended. You don't want to get kidnapped by the cartel.
Right. So let me ask you this. How has it been in your 8 years of traveling, or maybe longer, traveling while black?
TWB, Traveling While Black. Definitely see a difference in how my white counterparts are treated and how I was, especially in the past. I've been at the bar before and been looked right past. And, I found out there's a lot of reasons for that because, honestly, black travel has grown over the last 20 years. But if you look, pre-1980, black folks were traveling, but not at the rate they were traveling now. So we've built a better travel etiquette. So we tip better. So I guess a question to y'all I would ask, do you think black folks are known for not tipping?
Yeah, we got that stigma.
That stigma. Only because I think
it's like that here in America too. They said we don't tip.
Jamaica, my cousins work for the hotel and they was like, yeah man, black American, they don't like tip man. They want to give you like $2, $3. But I told them, I said, yo, Europeans. They said, yo, some of them European, they're worse. They're worse. They tip less. But it's a cultural thing because in Europe, a lot of places, you'll tip people and it's an insult to them.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's say somebody's not cheap. Maybe they just don't know.
Right.
So what is the etiquette as far as
tipping?
I pull up to the hotel, guy grabs my bag, takes it to the room. What's the proper tip for that?
Normally, because I worked for a hotel, so I have a little bit of insight. Normally, they're looking for at least $2 a bag. But, $5 a bag. If I got 2 heavy suitcases, my carry-on, I'm going to give him $10. Now, if he takes it from the door to the cart, and then somebody else is taking it to the room, I'm going to let the dude that's taking it to the room know that, hey, I'm going to tip you, but, you got to take care of such and such. You got to be conscious of it. Or we now carry singles. So singles, like somebody, can I get a cranberry juice and some, and vodka, and they give it to you, $2.
Right.
I'm not going to give him $10 for doing it. But if every day he sees me, he's like, hey, Junior, and, after a while, when I'm leaving, I'm like, this is my homie right
here. Yeah, I had that experience.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
So normally 10 to 15% is what you tip on the bill. Well, 15 to 20 for us. So if you had an all-inclusive, you're not getting a bill.
Right.
So, $5, $2, $5, and $10 go a long way. $1 is a nice gesture, though.
Right.
It's better than nothing, but these folks are working for nominal wages. So then you get a chance to talk to them more, because you're interacting with them. There's an exchange.
Right. So
now, if every time the dude gets me a drink, if it's my third time coming back, I done tipped you twice. I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if I'm in the swim-up pool, swimmer bar, I don't have no cash on me. I just got to catch you later. So tipping is not mandatory, but it's customary.
Right.
So, again, it's a matter of educating our community, because you asked Traveling While Black. This is why we're talking to black folks. We need to tip better. Tipping goes a long way. Also, though, if you don't know or you just get in someplace, I shouldn't have to tip you first. You shouldn't have to know that I'm a good tipper to give you good service.
Right.
So if I feel that vibe that you're only gonna, cater to me if you find out I'm a good tipper, guess what? I probably won't be a good tipper. But Traveling While Black, too, you have to walk with a sense that you deserve what others deserve. So speak up for yourself as well. I think we've been very, I guess you say, complacent with service, with poor service. Mm-hmm. Nah, I'm paying for it just like everybody else is paying for it. Having a butler is something that a lot of folks like to have on a trip now. A personal assistant, like a lot of hotels concierge, but some hotels now, like Planet Hollywood, are calling it your personal assistant. Uh-huh. And you can call this person on WhatsApp, on your phone app, or they used to give you a phone, and you can say, hey man, me and my wife are coming back to our room at 6:30. Could you draw a bath for us? They'll do it. Hey, we're down at the pool area. No one's down here serving drinks or anything like that. You mind bringing us some food from, a lot of them will do it. But when you leave, you can tip
Look out for them.
Look out for them. But, you want to leave your butler $40, $50, but if you leave them $5,
right.
The next black couple that come, they're going to be like,
right. Mm-hmm.
You want what at the beach?
Right. Dang.
remember what Junior did last time.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it could have been, not necessarily for someone of color. However, another thing is when you, because we're not frequently seen in Greece, you got the basketball player now that's from Greece. So I think I was telling y'all earlier that you find out in Switzerland and Germany, there's a lot of black folks.
Yeah.
So we're not, strange. We're not a unicorn, but they will notice you.
Right.
And then even notice your accent. And now you kind of stand out a little bit, so you feel observed. So it's changing now, which is great because black people are traveling more. But I think hotels and hotel brands and you remember that guy that was in first class, and that lady was like, "Sorry, sir, but I think you're in the wrong line." And he was like, "No, I'm in the right line." And she's like, "No, this is for Delta Diamond first class member." He was like,
Right.
because he's a business person who does a lot of flights, but we weren't expected. Oh, you must be a rapper or athlete.
Right. If you ain't no one of those, then
I own an IT company, or I own a chain of restaurants.
Yeah.
I'm 35 years old, or whatever it is. So, we've been having to prove ourselves in the past, but that's kind of changing now.
Right.
So, traveling while black is still though uncomfortable for a lot of people. The fastest growing sector of travelers is single black females.
Yep.
So.
I see that.
They want to feel protected as well when they travel, and not, they don't want to. They know they're going to stick out like a sore thumb, but they expect to be catered to and treated right.
I mean, how many of them going with sponsors, but when they post a picture, look like they by themselves?
We were talking about that earlier. A lot of women feel that a great gift to someone, the gift of travel, but a lot of women feel like if I'm going somewhere with a dude, he's got to pay for it. A lot of women. Some women will pay, let's go half and half.
Right.
You want to go to Cancun or, just, y'all could be, friends. It could be platonic.
Right.
But even platonic, a lot of women still feel that the man should pay for them. And then you have some guys who, the female is paying for them.
Yeah.
I mean, women, let's not pull any punches. You got women that are out here making bread just like we're making bread. So they could be like, yeah, I'm going to Tulum for 4 days. You want to come? And you're like, man, I can't. I got you.
Right.
Go ahead. But in the past, it's been a stereotype that a lot of women get sponsored. And it's still it.
Yeah.
stereotype.
Ain't no stereotype. It's the truth.
Probably booking one right now. Booking one right now.
One credit card. No, to be honest, I see a lot of couples trips being split down the middle.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother conversation, because I think culture-wise we're changing as black culture is changing. Where before women were like, what? No way, I'm paying for half. A lot of women now, a lot of couples and couple people are understanding that we both work.
Right.
It's not like I'm the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with paying for half, though? I look at it like this. If you're married, the money is both of y'all.
A woman wants to feel.
But nah.
Chivalry is not dead, but what I am saying is that you're right. Those thoughts now, or it's both about money, but my wife still wants to feel like I'm taking her someplace.
Yeah.
So women like trips. It's very rare that but I start seeing some wives now taking their husbands on a trip as a gift.
Right.
But normally, a female is not like, hey, I'm going to take
it's like reparations.
Trip reparations, that's a good one. Trip reparations.
So traveling while black, have you ever been out somewhere and seen, while you traveling, seen a black couple or black folk doing something just totally ignorant and be like, I can't believe
I seen it.
Because I got about 3.
He asked the question and was going one way because I was saying how we're treated, but you're right. This is the blueprint, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. Sometimes we can be very loud.
Right.
And I mean, DR is a sexy place. Cancun is a sexy place, but some people just think they're sexy,
right, but
shouldn't have that on. So we can be loud, obnoxious. We can look like a spectacle a lot. maybe because I'm black, I notice it more for black folks, but
Yeah.
I see a lot of, like in the airport, these ladies were upset that they had to take their liquor back out their bag to scan their bag and then put it back in their bag because they were getting on a connecting flight.
Right.
And then their bag was overweight. For them. And it was like, well, y'all let us come through with it. We don't understand. Yeah, they were in your check bag.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean, they were in your carry-on, but now you're putting them in your check bag.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were explaining to them, well, if it's sealed, you can go through. But they wasn't trying, you know, neck was moving.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens to where we travel etiquette, man. You still have to treat people with respect.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're walking through the resort at midnight, you know, yeah, you're gonna have loud people, whether they're white, black, Spanish, whatever. But we tend to
Turn it up.
turn it up a little. You know, we the turn up. The part when we get there, though, the party does get there. The swimming pool.
Right.
You know, but
So what have you seen, Ant?
Me personally, I feel if you're on vacation, let it hang. Do what you do. I don't care what type of outfit you have on. Let's be you.
Yeah, outfits. I'll be like,
I
you on
don't
vacation
care,
right now?
man.
No.
no.
Because I'm not paying attention to you.
However, I did tell you about
But
when I
you
went
might
on
be
the went to Carnival,
Uh,
and it's 100 degrees,
That's
and
what
there's
I'm
dude out there
thinking.
that has some Tim's on.
Yeah.
Like, bro, where are you?
I mean, I've seen.
but if you want to see something, Carnival is
No,
where
that's
it's at.
fashion. That's a fashion statement.
Carnival.
Tim's on the beach.
No.
We show out on Carnival.
No, Carnival is where it's
And Carnival Cruise Line.
Oh
people
man.
fighting.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's a fun ship. So, but again, like you said, how do we act? Because you got some. Carnival is not just black folks acting out. It's white rednecks and
Yeah,
But like you said,
Negroes.
we notice us.
Right, but I noticed them too.
I noticed
You got-
them too.
Right.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
see.
because of the price point of
Mhm.
Carnival, and also we said it's a fun ship. It's not Norwegian. You know, you're not gonna get a Caesar salad with your with your lunch.
Yeah.
Carnival, you're gonna get hot dogs, hamburgers, you know,
Right.
Pizza.
pizza, and a lot of fun. It's gonna be
Yeah.
loud.
Turn up. Carnival was good.
But we can
Norwegian, the food is good though.
sometimes we can go overboard. But Norwegian is learning that man, people want to have fun too. So
Right.
Royal Caribbean, but they're a little bit more even keeled, I would say, because you have different price points and older, you know, a different. Norwegian is very multi-generational.
Right.
You know, with Carnival, you know, I mean, you have older folks. Carnival, you find a lot of young newlyweds get drunk in the pool, and they
Right.
everybody got to get out the pool
Yeah.
because they just threw up.
Yeah. I think you, like Ann said, you should let it hang out. Don't be concerned about your
Appearance.
appearance and all that. Because to me,
I disagree because
no, but
you are representing a culture. So others, like you'll see
but you in
Canadians.
another country though.
And also this too.
Canadians are known for being a little snobbish, but they're not known for being the ones getting kicked out the hotel.
Right. But what I'm
Well,
talking about as far as
Hold up, Joe.
what?
In Canada, they in the house all the time.
But their mannerism is different.
Because
So,
they in the house all the time.
so it's cultural appropriation. I guess you can't. All right, I like music, so I
Right.
carry my Bluetooth speaker, so I'll be on the beach. But if I'm playing, you know, Nipsey or Roddy Ricch, and even if we're at an adults, but we were at a family, and if there's cussing, my wife is like, yo, there's kids over here.
Yeah, that's
But
what
even
I
if it's
mean.
adults, you're in a certain area where folks are trying to relax.
Right.
Right.
And now the pool music is playing, but your music is playing.
Yeah.
Right. Now I agree with that.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
But we're the ones who do that.
But I
Of
think
course.
you need to turn it
Of course
down.
we do.
a little
They
bit.
come
You
in the
play
barbershop,
with
We
we
that.
like, yo, we get back, yo, what's up?
Yeah, when they come in here, we'll have a TV and a radio going on. Somebody might have a phone
but
playing their
but
own music, right?
When
We
you're at
don't need no
when
music
you're at a
here.
resort, you come to the pool area,
Yeah.
everybody's relaxed, suntan, and you put your Bluetooth speaker down.
Right.
You can't just throw Biggie and Pac on.
I understand.
You might want to throw.
Yeah.
You can work your way into it with a little bit of LMA or something like that.
Right.
I think you turn it. You can have it on, but turn it down.
Yeah.
But you said letting it all hang out. I've seen
No,
no Speedos on certain people.
When you talk about culture,
But
if you're from Europe, that's the
Right.
thing to do.
Exactly, but that doesn't mean to me it's not a. There was a dude at the buffet with his Speedos on,
Right.
and I was like, that just ain't right, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
it ain't.
There's a 350-pound lady. No, I love the ladies, whether they're 350 or
Right.
150, but she had on a see-through coverall,
Right.
see through. It's a coverall,
Right.
so it shouldn't be see through. And then she had on. It wasn't
She
right.
on vacation.
Right. Let me ask you this: do you really remember her, or you remember the outfit?
I remember her in the outfit. I remember everything.
If you see her tomorrow,
Right, so
you
you
point
walking
out.
past her on the street, you be like,
face
oh, that's you.
smile because
So it don't even
but if
matter.
I saw her
That's why I
body,
said
I'd probably be
that.
like, that look just like.
But you're not for sure, so it don't matter.
No. So yes, you want to listen. I'm not saying that you don't go on vacation and let it all hang out, but
Right.
there should be a level of etiquette.
I'm all with the etiquette.
Just like smoking, like a lot of folks.
Yeah.
A lot of folks. A lot of folks go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
What do they want to do?
Smoke weed.
Bon ganja. They want to smoke weed.
Say it one more time.
Bon ganja. They want to smoke weed, right?
Yeah.
But you can't just. Jamaica hasn't legalized it. They decriminalized it. Just like in Las Vegas, it's legal, but you can't smoke on hotel property. But you have folks that'll just light up right at the pool,
Right.
and you can't.
Right.
You can go off to the side to
Yeah.
a hotel or so, but have some respect for others.
Yeah.
Just like you would with
Yeah.
someone.
I'm with the etiquette, but I think that when Ant talk about letting it all hang out, I'm talking about
If you had an adult.
right. I'm talking about don't be all stiff and tight.
Oh no!
like,
I'm not saying that. We're talking about the extreme.
Like for instance, it was a girl a long time ago. She was telling me that her and her fiance, her fiance was taking her to it may have been Jamaica, one of the islands, right? So I was like, look, when you get there, don't be there getting an attitude talking about, oh, I don't want to get my hair wet and all this other type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's different.
Because that's how she was gonna do.
Well, that's
I
that.
was like, look,
well,
this man is
female-
taking you somewhere to relax
But she-
and, like you
but
say,
she-
let it hang out.
But she still
So-
wants to look good.
So,
and
for
that's-
what? You're on vacation.
Yeah, but she wants to look good for him and for her. So
No.
listen. You're right in telling her that because black women do tend to have that stigma of not trying to mess up their hair, but you want them to enjoy the water. Me and my wife, we love going to the beach, and in the grill you get to see the stingrays.
Right.
But there's a lot of people like, I ain't getting in no water. You have to allow those folks to. Some folks don't like sand on their toes.
So what you're saying is that's a conversation you need to have with whoever you're going with.
Definitely, whoever you're going with, and I always make sure the characteristic of the resort itself. You might want to go to a turn-up resort and get to this resort, and you find out that it's quiet over here, right? So, or you might want peace and quiet, or like a lot of folks, like Sandals is really for couples. You don't find single people at Sandals. It's a couples hotel,
Right.
and then you have couples. In Jamaica, you have a resort called Couples, a couple of them. Then you have all natural hotels, resorts where you.
Butt naked.
But those hotels have their reasons. Then you have certain hotels that are more party hotels, like Breathless, or the Ryu, that are more of a bargain hotel, like a Carnival price point. But then you have some places like Moon Palace that's multi-generational, have adult-only section, or they'll have a quiet section, like at Breathless, it's a party hotel, but they have the exhale section,
Right.
where it's quieter over there. So that's where having a travel consultant, of course, comes in. But doing some research, but also knowing the temperament of not only you, but who you're traveling with as well.
I just know for me, I wouldn't want to spend thousands of dollars to get somewhere and be like, oh, let's go horseback ride. No, I don't want to just let's jet ski.
Some people are introverts, and they're very. I like to jump off of waterfalls. I like to jet ski. My wife is like, nah, somebody got to collect the insurance policy.
Yeah.
And somebody got to tell what happened. She's just not an adventurous person. Opposites attract. We fell off a moped once in Cozumel, and from then she was like, "You'll never get me on." It was my fault. I rolled it. It was a driveway. I thought it was a driveway with sand. I went over the front handlebars. She's
man.
Yeah, the handlebars bent, and
Dang.
we almost missed the boat. And she was like, "We could have got hurt and been in a Mexican hospital." So you were talking about let it all hang out. Another thing is I tell my clients to be careful in a foreign country. Yeah. I fell in Dominican Republic last year, and I thought I dislocated my shoulder. Don't run around the pool drunk, or take somebody and you throw them in the pool and you throw them in the 3-foot on the 3-foot.
You gotta be careful.
You still gotta be responsible for what you're doing too. You gotta
but if you're letting it all hang out,
but you can do it. You can let it all hang out and still
Yeah, I'm just talking about not.
So you can't let it all.
having-
You can just do whatever, let it all hang out, and still be.
Yeah, you still.
Yeah, I mean, you can still
when you're
let it
trying-
hang out, have
Yeah.
etiquette,
Get it if you're a female.
common sense, and be safe. Is what I'm
Right.
saying.
Yeah, you can do all that.
You can have.
I guess when I say let it all hang out, I'm just saying, don't be stiff.
Right.
Oh, don't be stiff.
Yeah,
And don't care what other people are thinking or saying or whatever.
Don't be stiff.
Because nobody gonna remember you.
Don't be.
Because if I'm with my lady and we go out to the beach and she got on all these clothes, oh, I don't want to. Like we in another country and we on the beach.
So some countries you can sunbathe, like Dominican Republic. You'll see people sunbathe, but some hotels don't allow that, or some folks, that's kind of culture shock for them.
Right.
So,
but why though? What's the
Because
culture shock about that?
oh, because breastfeeding. Some people see folks breastfeeding, and they like.
So they don't want the baby to eat?
So
But you
that's
and I-
natural.
But you and I both know if you in Golden Corral and somebody pop out a breast and feed it to us, they like at least
I'm gonna
cover
say
that
I'm
up,
happy
go
with
in the
they have
bathroom, go in.
I'm not paying.
A lot.
I might glance, but I'm keeping moving.
I know
don't
me
care.
and you because we used in Jamaican culture breastfeeding is but here in the United States there's been people that have been told like, ma'am, you're gonna have to cover up or go into the bathroom.
Yeah. That's
So all I'm really getting at is let it all hang out like y'all said. Have good fun, but be responsible.
Be responsible
because
at the same
you
time.
don't want to
Don't
be
forget
jet skiing with one
about
hand, fall off, or
they
hit
put
you.
them on the glass picture. You let it all hang
You got
out.
all that. Tatas from the glass.
Yeah. Big boys,
Remember?
the chubby boys.
What's the
Got it.
Instagram so everybody can go check the picture out?
It's the
You
breathless.
still on there?
Listen, and you go places and they have a see-through pool, just like you said. Look, I took the picture. You can see my moves up against the glass. It's an unforgettable picture, but hey, I was there. Another one at Chic Punta Cana. They have a mermaid pool. My wife said I look like a sea lion, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun though.
Right.
That's
So
what
you ain't
it's
worried
all
about how you look.
I wasn't.
That's
though.
what I'm saying. You let it
Let
hang
it
out.
hang out.
I let it hang out.
Yeah.
So me personally, when I go on looking for a vacation, I want balance. I want to have that quiet time. I want to have good food, and also want to party. I want to have all that in one. So that's where you come in at. And if you're doing all this traveling, you can provide the right locations or places to go. So if I want to go somewhere like Cancun, what would you suggest?
So being able to have first-person experience, that's the greatest thing when you've been to a destination. I've sent people to destinations where I've never been before. I've never been to the Maldives, but I've booked the Maldives before. I've never been to France, and I booked somebody.
So how do you do your research on these
I
places?
do your research. I talk to other agents, and I also talk to the tourist boards of those areas, or the what you call business development manager, like for the Marriott. Those people have to travel. They travel to these destinations, and I can say this is what my client is looking for. You, in particular, just like you said, I know you like balance, so I like to send you to theme hotels like Planet Hollywood. I would send you to Planet Hollywood adult scene.
I want to do adult on I want to get around.
Well, the adult scene side gives you the option where it's a huge area for adults only, but you have access to both resorts. Right now, if you wanted to do adult only,
And where's this at?
in Cancun, in Costa Mujeres. It's a
Okay.
brand new hotel. They're opening up January 29th. We're going. But it's a large hotel, so you have more variety. You have the cool adult pool, quiet area. You got the lazy river, but they're going to be kids in the lazy river on that side, but you have more restaurants. If you go to adult-only hotel, most of the time adult-only hotels are smaller. So, but it's more quaint. So having options for you is key. But if you told me specifically, look, I'm not really looking at doing much activities, then yeah, Secrets fits you well. Breathless is more of a balance because you can have your turn up as well. But it also depends on price point because you got some cool adult-only resorts like the Reedy Republic. And that's one of the largest adult-only resorts in Cancun. They got a water park for adults. There's no Pampers in the pool. So that's one of the things my wife, we don't like to get in the swimming pool with infants. So yes, I want to make sure that not only you going to an adult-only resort or resort with adult-only area, but you also get a resort with balance. So I'm not going to send you to. You got some hotels that are really high end, like LeBlanc, or some hotels that are really just Zoetry, more Zen. Zoetry is under the same umbrella as Secrets, Breathless, Sunscape, Now, plus AM Resorts. But Zoetry is like their top brand. And the cool thing about Zoetry, you can go to the sister resort. So if you do want some turn up, you can leave Zoetry, take a taxi, and go to Breathless.
Yeah, that's how it was with Secrets.
Secrets, yeah. It's called Sip and Serve. Sip and Serve. You can visit. But Zoetry, you don't have to just go there for dinner. You can actually go to any one of the sister resorts. But that's variety.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of folks are like, look, I don't want to go to, I just want quiet. I want peace and quiet. So high-speed internet is important for folks that want to do Instagram. Some folks actually don't want any internet, or want internet when they have it. It's not a big deal for them, but they want to be away from everybody. So, but I mean, some resorts really do a good job actually, where you can't play music around the swimming pool. That's Zoetry. It's about listening to. They might have some natural music in the background, but you're trying to hear the ocean, you're trying to hear the birds, and they have live birds, and they make it zen.
Right. So you say the Hard Rock you can have kind of have best
Hard
of both
Rock
worlds.
is still more of a turn-up hotel. They do have a section called the Haven. It's but you're gonna for that type of exclusivity within a resort, you're gonna pay more.
Right.
But Hard Rock does have it, but I would say a well-balanced, all-inclusive resort, is I like Royaltons. I like Blue Diamond resorts because you'll have the Royalton Hideaway, which is adult only. You'll have the Royalton, and then you'll have like the Royalton Splash, which is for kids.
Oh, so you got access to all that within one.
Yeah, but the Hideaway is literally like has its own pool, own beach, and own restaurant. You never have to go to the other two unless it's just there if you would like. That's what we did in Dominican Republic. But I like water parks, so I ended up going to the Splash Water Park. And the action, all the shows are not going to be at the adult. None of the shows will be at the adult. If you want to watch night shows, you go over to the Royalton.
So what do you recommend exclusive resorts? Do you come out better? I mean, what's your better?
Yeah, you come out better quality-wise. Like, we're going to Excellence. I do a trip to Jamaica every year called Link Up. And Link Up is a trip that I do on my birthday. My birthday is June 2nd. But in the past, I've done it where, you could bring your teenage kids or whatever. Because, I had a lot of family and cousins. Because it was a time of year where I used to link up my New York folks that have moved to Florida, Virginia, Texas, my cousins in Great Britain and England, folks from Chicago, St. Louis. We all link up. But now I rather do it at adult only. So we're doing it at Excellence Oyster Bay. So they got swim out suites, rooftop suites, beach houses, really good food. It's on its own peninsula.
Right. So with the inclusive, you can kind of budget. You know what you.
Well, when you're dealing with adult only resort, it's going to cost you a little bit more so just room alone, you're looking at like for 4 nights, $1,500.
Right.
If you went to something that was multi-generational, $1,100. You save $400 or $500 a person.
Right.
And then airfare on top of that, $500. So adult only vacation sometimes $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah.
Where you can get, you can go to Mexico and stay at a resort, an all-inclusive resort, and not get bed bugs, have decent food with airfare for $800 for 4 nights.
Yeah.
Sometimes even $650. But
Okay.
if you want to stay in an adult only, it's going to cost you $1,000, $1,100.
Right.
A nice adult only, $1,500 a person with a nice room, swim out room, butler service, airfare. Pick your seat on the plane, fly Delta. It's all stuff.
So, the hot spot right now is Tulum. So can you educate us on how far Tulum is from the airport in Cancun? Where should you stay? And all that.
Tulum is an Instagram spot because people saw the pictures of the beaches, and Tulum is very picturesque. White sand, blue, aqua blue water, because it's away from the city part or Cancun. It's more going south. So it's about 2 hours from the airport. So 2 hours it can be a hassle. Like if your flight, let's say your flight is leaving Tulum, leaving Mexico at 10 a.m. What time do you need to be at the airport?
About 7.
7. 3 hours before your flight is ideal. If it's a 2-hour drive, if you gotta be there at 7, you gotta leave there.
5.
Well, but they want to prepare just in case.
Oh, yeah.
So they're gonna pick you up about 4:30.
Yeah.
Means you're not gonna get any breakfast.
Yeah.
So you want to schedule your flight later. So you got to really think about logistically why you would want to stay in Tulum rather than do a day trip to Tulum. There are some really nice resorts in Tulum, but it's still underdeveloped. So you're not going to find the resorts that you would find in Cancun. You're not going to find high rises. Cancun has high rise resorts that overlook the ocean and you're right downtown. Where if you want, if you want a pack of cigarettes or something, you could leave the resort and walk right downtown or go to the pharmacy.
Yeah.
With Tulum, when you're on the resort,
That's it.
you're sticking on the resort. But again, you talk about exclusivity, so you can visit Tulum and stay closer to Tulum, like Playa del Carmen. So Cancun is broken up into these different areas. You got the hotel district, you got Riviera Maya, you've got Playa del Carmen, Playa Car, and then you go down into Tulum. And then north of Cancun, you have Costa Mujeres and Isla Mujeres. So you got all these pockets, but it depends on what you want to do. Now, if I wanted to visit Tulum, I would stay at either Secrets Akumal, which is 20 minutes from Tulum, but a nice all-inclusive, but not exactly in Tulum, or Dreams Tulum. But Dreams for you might not work because it's a family resort. Now, if you were staying in Tulum, there's Core Tulum, there's a couple of hotels, but they're going to be more eco-friendly type of design. So you're going to have a more private, exclusive type of stay, but you're going to be on property most of the time. And then, do you like to snorkel or you're a beach bum? You like
Beach bum.
Okay. So Tulum is the type of place you could wake up literally at 8 a.m. or 6 a.m., watch the sunrise, eat, and stay on the beach all day.
So it's just a chill spot.
Chill. That's
It's
chill.
not a turn up.
Like Negril, Jamaica. If you go to Jamaica, some people, Ocho Rios is where all the activities is. Mobay is closer to the city, like Cancun is close to the airport. Mobay is close to the airport. But Negril, we call it Negril and chill. Negril, the water's calm, the sunset.
Yeah.
It's more romantic.
Right.
Negril
I
is
like Montego Bay better than the grill.
Yeah, Montego Bay, because you have more of a mixture. Of
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
But Negril is 2 hours from the airport.
Yeah.
Ocho Rios is 2 hours from the airport.
Right.
So you want to make sure you're picking the right destination and then picking the right location within destination and picking the right resort within location.
So you want to pick something in the middle between Cancun and Tulum?
I personally, I'm going to visit Tulum. I visited before, but this time I'm going to visit and spend a whole day. Because last time we visited, we did the Mayan ruins. Some people like that type of history. They want to get the history. But this time I'm going to go to Tulum and really see what it feels like to chill there. Because, again, you were asking about going outside the resort. So they have places outside of Cancun where you have more cartel action, or cartel activity. So you don't want to wander off the resort and explore. But they have tour companies now that'll take you. So if you went to Tulum, though, what would you want to do? Outside of just chill at the
Take a picture and post it.
resort. So they have Pablo Escobar has a house there that they turn into a restaurant. That's the one with the picture of the person with the mouth.
Right. Yeah. That's the one I see on Instagram.
One of the Marley kids has a hotel in Tulum. These are
I
more,
heard about
it's
that.
more private. So you have these cool pictures that nobody else. Most people aren't gonna go stay in Tulum before, but now people are looking for places even that are not Tulum.
So let me ask you this then. Could I break up my vacation, like spend a day in Cancun, 2 days in Tulum, then on the last day I spend in Cancun,
Yes,
and then fly from like that?
that's the smart way to do it. So if you had a week, I would fly to Cancun and go straight to Tulum. I would spend 3 days in Tulum, soak it all in, and then I would come to Cancun and spend 4 days in the city limits and go to Isla Mujeres
Right. Yeah.
and those other places.
So out of all those, which one is the complete turn up spot?
Cancun.
Cancun.
Yeah, Cancun is where Coco Bongos is, and Margaritaville, all these, the clubs.
Yeah.
So like again, sometimes there's events, which is it's good to time. Sometimes you can go and piggyback off of the jazz festival or the soul festival in these cities, or somebody's having a gathering, or it could be National Association of Black Accountants.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But if you're going out to party right now, Cabo is the only place where you can really have some nightlife, because a lot of these other places have curfews. But without the curfews, Cancun is where. But you don't want to be out. I had a client that was out in the club in Cancun, put his phone down, and it was gone.
Right.
Because now you're like you're in Atlanta, you're in Brooklyn.
Right.
So spring breakers tend to hang out in those places, and some folks hate spring breakers because they're loud,
right,
obnoxious, and.
Is it the best time of year to go?
Yeah, I would say, snowbirds are December. A lot of folks leave Thanksgiving, December, and don't come back to the United States. Some people have homes there, summer homes,
right,
in Cancun, Cabo, or Jamaican places. So, but those are folks. Most of the time, you're going to find people who don't have to work or retirees during that time. And then here comes spring breakers, April through May. So I like to go like right after Memorial Day to that pocket right before hurricane season starts.
That's what I'm about to get. Yeah.
So after Memorial Day.
Because July, August, though, although it's hurricane season, also the hottest time. Right? We went to Cabo in September. It's one of the hottest. August through September is the hottest time to go to the desert.
Right.
So sunburn and things like that. I love the hot weather, but it's not a comfortable spot. Whale watching is between December to March. September.
And what area is that though?
Cabo, on the West Coast. So
they got whale watching in Cabo?
Yeah.
The
Pacific Ocean. Yeah, it's
okay.
where the Pacific Ocean meets.
And that's March, you said?
No, that's December through March.
December through March.
You got whale watching too in places like St. Lucia, certain times a year.
But how's the weather at that time?
Oh, in Cabo, weather's so 80 to me. Great weather is 80 to 85 degrees. So the winter in the Caribbean or near the equator is 85 degrees. That's the winter. 80.
Right. And the water's still warm.
Water's still warm. So the summer months, the water temperature goes up. So then sometimes, like if you're in the water in August, the water is hot. It's not a real. That's why people do swimming pools. So the best time to travel, depending on the location, is not during rainy season. So that's another thing you want to pay attention to. Like Costa Rica has a rainy. Depends. Like some places, like Thailand has a rainy season. Costa Rica has a rainy season, but they don't coincide. So Costa Rica's rainy season, I believe, is from June through September during the summer months. So I can talk to my man. I feel like I'm giving Joe all
the show almost over, so you've been giving him all the love, man.
Nah, I just want my But that's a great question, and that's where I come in. You have to look at when can you vacation. What's the ideal time to do what I want to do. Now, Las Vegas, right? Cheap to go right now. But are you going to the pool in Vegas right now?
Nah,
it's cold.
It's cold. I was there in November, and it was like 70 degrees during the daytime, but it was still too chilly for me to get in the pool.
Right.
But if you go during the summer, Vegas is packed.
Right.
That's where the party season is. So the best time to go to Vegas, in my opinion, is September.
Yeah.
Because the weather's still a little warm. It's not too hot and it's not too crowded. Because another thing you have to think about, when do people vacation? When the kids are out of school.
Right.
So September, a lot of things open up because everybody's back in school after Labor Day. And then folks in the educational system, tend to. I'm in the medical field. A lot of times people tend to vacation around the holidays because less people are taking, doing doctor's appointments and things like that. So, you kind of want to pick your pockets. But by January, man, folks is like, man, I need to get out of
Right.
here.
Yeah.
So February is a great time, but February is more, I guess you would say, peak season. But February is a time when you find a lot of couples that travel, and then you got to pay attention to the. Remember, we're not the only people that travel.
Right.
Like, it was crazy to find out that the majority of travelers in the Caribbean aren't Americans. They're Europeans and Canadians.
Europeans and Canadians.
Yeah.
Yeah, we think we travel, and when we travel, we go 4 or 5 days, 7 days. They vacation 3 weeks, a month.
Yeah.
Right.
They got a different system than we do.
Right.
Yes.
They shut down cities.
Yeah. They get real vacations. We don't. So it's totally different. So you ready to end the show?
Yeah. So just to recap, I'm on a budget. I come to you and say, Junior, I got $1,200
For one person or two?
for one person. Say, can we do 2 people for that?
You can't.
Is that possible?
You might get bed bugs.
Nah, I want the bed bug free. I want the bed bug free trip. Okay, all right. Okay, let's say I'm gonna up it. Let's say 2,500, 2 people.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right now, real quick, because budget is always, of course. But what I tell folks, don't think about how much. Let's think about what you want to do first.
You a salesman?
No.
Look,
The
I got
reason-
$2,500.
No, the reason why is because you can always travel. You know that. Cruise, listen, if you really just want to, I love cruising. But of course, COVID changed a lot of things
Right, I don't want to do a cruise right now.
now. But cruising allowed people to do it. Now, since things are changing, supply and demand. So less people traveling,
Right,
the more bargains you find. But on hotels, but airlines, less seats are being filled. Gonna pay more for flights. So
right.
you kind of have to pick your pockets. But the key is if you want an inexpensive trip right now, Mexico by far is they're killing the game.
That's the best way to go.
They've got so many choices, so
And
they
they
have
open.
supply. The demand isn't high where everything is. So you can do airfare, hotel, 3 nights, leave on a Thursday, come back Sunday to Mexico for $600,
All inclusive?
all inclusive.
At
But
work.
it's sometimes at a Riu or a Reef 20, at a decent all inclusive. When you get there, they're gonna greet you with the drink.
Yeah.
You're gonna have pizza, chicken, rice. You're gonna have 3 different restaurants to eat at. Beach,
That's where they let you wear the Speedo.
Speedos. But the liquor, you're not gonna get top shelf liquor. You're not gonna
No, I'm not a
get
big drinker, so it's not
right. So for you, it's different. But for somebody, I would tell them when you get to the airport, bring your own liquor
Okay.
to your hotel, or you can bring your own liquor from the U.S. Pack it in your check bag if you
Right.
drink, rosé or
Right.
black bottles.
Well, let me ask you this, because you mentioned
And then leave
cruises.
the hotel to get. You can go out and get some great food. You don't have to eat the hotel food.
Yeah.
And then in the room, they say shower, shave. If you're with your bae, have sex. Well, if you're
Right.
only doing the S's in the room, I don't need a swim out. Or do you? You might say, look, man, I do want a really nice room. Then
That
you're
swim
gonna
out
have-
sexy, though.
Yeah.
It is.
That swim out
What a
sexy.
lot of folks
You
don't
have to
realize
understand.
about swim out though is that if you go during the wrong time of the year and it's cooler outside, that pool is not heated; it's cold.
Yeah.
But some rooms have a swim out and a jacuzzi tub in the
Mhm.
room. So in the daytime, you can hang out in the swim out, and at night, some of them, like Breathless, even have the jacuzzi tub on the balcony, so you can still get in the water at night.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the public hot tub. But again.
No, I don't want to be in the public.
Yeah, but again, you talk about price. So if
Right.
you want a room, because you don't have to do all inclusive either. They have some hotels what you call a European.
But is it cost effective though not to do it?
Yes, if you're not. Listen, there's a lot of food.
Yeah.
Ant really doesn't. He's picky. He don't eat a lot, so all inclusive for him a lot of times. Tell the truth.
I'm picking.
I know, but all inclusive don't really
Man, I'm
work
doing-
out for you.
Nah, not really. Depends on where I'm at, though. Depends on the country.
You eat seafood,
Not right
lobster, scallion.
now. I don't eat no meat.
Okay, so a lot of hotels now are paying more attention to
Dietary.
to
The
vegans, certain dietary needs.
Right.
But most of the time, it's not the lower end hotels. So a lot of hotels will offer you nice accommodations, but if you want to buy food, they'll prepare food for you, or you make sure you get the hotel close to. There's a restaurant in Floral Farm in Cabo, from farm to table. Like he would love Floral Farm.
Yeah.
From farm to table.
Yeah.
So those restaurants work out better for someone who's looking for a culinary experience.
Yeah.
So why stay at an all-inclusive if you're really going for the culinary experience?
Yeah.
Or stay at an all-inclusive just, to make sure I have food, but I'm going to get out and get some good stuff. And then they have some all-inclusives that have all-inclusive, but then they have an area where you can pay for better quality.
Yeah.
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 I do both.
Yeah. I just like knowing I'm good.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
everything. Is, I don't want to go nowhere and then have to be worried about how much
cool
I'm
with the
paying
food on
out for
Carnival?
food. Huh?
You cool with the food on Carnival cruise ship?
Man, I eat so many of them guys' burgers.
But you cool with it, right?
I was the first couple days. After
the
that-
guys' burgers is the bomb. The French fries is the
Yeah.
bomb.
The first 10 times you have them, but after
I was gonna say that lava cake at night, that chocolate lava
Yeah.
cake. After a while, bro, you like, man, I'm not eating this no more.
Right.
And that's not good. That's cruise food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you be constipated,
Yeah.
So, but Carnival, you can find a good salad now. You can go on Carnival and build. You can be a vegetarian on Carnival, and Carnival has vegan dishes. Especially have Indian food. They have a lot of different ethnic food. So
that's why I do my own research. Do your own research. That's why I say.
due diligence. I tell my clients, just because I'm a travel agent, and some people do want the freedom of not worrying or having a source of info, but you do want to kind of
do your own research
and build your vision for your dream.
Yeah.
Your dream vacation. Build your vision for your trip, and then bring it to someone who can help curate or help you personally. It's like when I go to Italy, I cook. My other business is I have a catering business because to me, travel and food go together. So I call it cook and book. So I like to cook for people and talk about travel. But when I go places, I like to pick up. Like I learned how to make amazing guac by mincing up cilantro. And I know a lot of people that don't like cilantro because it gets in their teeth. But if you mince it fine enough. But when I go to Italy, I want to learn how to make my own pasta. I like Italian food.
Right.
But I've never really had authentic African food. So if I go to Africa, but I know sometimes you got to be careful too. Can your stomach handle this? Some people are built like that. You got the Anthony Bourdain stomach.
Right.
Then some folks are like, look, wherever I go, they got to have chicken fingers. Because I can't. Yeah. I got friends that they go out to eat. They don't like. They're like, look, if I'm spending my money, I like to eat something that I know I can
enjoy.
Right. Well, all right. So right now, COVID, Mexico.
Mexico's open where you can. DR is open where you can fly in with no COVID test needed. They're like, come on in.
Right.
They're not requiring
all 2 countries.
Come on in. Costa Rica, come on in, but you're gonna have to get this $150 insurance policy in case something happens. But the CDC now, they threw a monkey wrench into it where you have to test. That's fine, you can go.
Yeah.
But coming back, you're going to have to take a COVID test.
One last question is, do you know if anything going to change when Biden get in?
Okay, so it's already, the reason why the CDC is making this effective on the 26th, because they know that, but to be responsible as a country with all these new strands, I agree with people being tested for coming back in.
Right.
Yeah.
It does throw a damper on the fact that people want to get the heck up out of here.
Right.
And you don't want to be in destination and test positive. But as a country, we do have to say, hey, listen, you can't go out and bring it back. But the great thing is that most of the destinations like Mexico, they have COVID, but not at the rate we have it. So the chance of you catching COVID in Mexico is less than the chance of you catching it here unless you were to stay at home.
Right.
So if you still go into Target and Walmart and the restaurants here in the U.S., you might as well go on a trip statistic-wise. Now, other countries like Jamaica, my country, you have to test before you come in. You have to have a negative COVID test.
Yeah.
10 days before entry. Certain islands, they might change it back to 72 hours, 3 days. So I can take my COVID test on Wednesday, and I'll get my results back by Friday.
Okay.
And leave on Saturday, or take my test Monday, get my results back Wednesday, leave on Thursday.
Yeah.
But now I have to test coming back in. So both ways with those countries. So Dominican Republic, Mexico, and Mexico is the 3 cities of Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, and Cabo. And then Dominican Republic, most people go to Punta Cana, but Puerto Plata and Santo Domingo is allowing me to come into.
Yeah.
But that could change. Now, when Biden comes into office, he could make, just depending on where COVID goes, he could be like, nah, we're shutting down. So businesses lose out. So I would say that different administrations pay more attention to allowing money to flow. But at the expense of what? Of the health people. So being in the travel industry, you don't like to hear all these restrictions, but we want to be responsible.
Right.
So I say travel responsible, keep your health up, social distance, wear your mask, test before you go out. Because I'm a traveler.
Yeah.
So I'm actually able to do it too, so I can show people that it can be done. So follow me on Instagram at Easy For You to Travel. Let me make it easy for you.
And they want you to cook something up for the family.
Chef Starvin, so I can give you all of the plugs.
Give them everything.
Clean the wheelchair, loyalty, transportation. I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I love entrepreneurship, and hopefully we get a chance to come back and we can talk about, because we're all self-employed.
Yeah.
Easy For You to Travel is EZ4 letter U 2 travel. That's my email as well. You can reach me at Twitter on Easy For You to Travel, Facebook at Easy For You to Travel. But I love to cook. That's my passion, man.
Yeah.
It's my gift and curse. Right?
Yeah.
But Chef Starvin, that's CHEF chef, but Starvin is spelled STARVIN, like Starvin like Marvin. Chef Starvin on Instagram, Facebook, and my main business though is I do medical transportation. That's not a sexy business though, so most folks don't need medical transportation until they're in a situation. But it's allowed me the opportunity to have other businesses, because if I was just relying on the travel industry right now,
right. Well, like I say, you need different streams of income.
I'll be up here sweeping floors for them.
You come up here, we'll pay you.
I know y'all would.
They'll tip you $2.
Yeah, I take that too.
Black America.
But follow Linkup, LINKUP 2021 on Instagram. Every year we go to Jamaica and we turn up. This year is going to be really good because we got another celebrity influence in the Caribbean world. Her name is Red Carpet Shelly. So she has an event called Celebration. So, you follow me at Easy For You to Travel. I give you a lot of info. But group trips is my specialty. I love curating groups. And my groups are fun, mature, but well-balanced. So, we're not on the booty hunts, but we have singles that go on the trip. We have a lot of couples that go on our trips as well.
Yeah.
But, our trips, we want folks to come back, with an experience, but also come back nurtured. So we get a chance to kind of, talk, bond on the trip. We do karaoke on the trip. We do excursions. So we have a good time. So definitely, if you're looking for some group trips, hit me up. We do a couples trip every year. This year, we decided to do it February after Valentine's Day. We normally do it in November. I do the Jamaica link-up trip every June. And then we do a Thanksgiving cruise. We'll talk about cruising next time. Cruising will be back, but not right now.
Yeah.
They got adult-only cruise that we were about to hit up, Virgin Voyages. So a lot of stuff in the travel industry. And I'll be putting out a podcast pretty soon because I found out, and tonight confirmed it, there's a lot of questions and a lot of information that I have that folks want access to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, sir.
All right. We are the Blueprint. Oh,
hold up. We sponsored by
Legacy Over Lust. Get your t-shirts,
Word.
hoodies,
Word.
at www.Legacy Over Lust.
What's your IG?
Legacy Over Lust.
All right.
Turn your notifications on.
Yeah.
We the Blueprint on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, share, do all that.
Shout out to We the Fifth.
Shout out to We the Fifth.
Again, my dog. Peace.